So I finished my trip to the UK and picked up a load of stuff for the farm, and I've dropped in on Jasper in Gudelheim in Germany. He was an intern last year at the farm and he's setting up a project here, so we're going to have a look around and see what he's up to in his first year of farming. Hi Jasper.
Hello.
So Jasper was with us last summer doing the internship, and you were designing another property at that point, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a smaller field, around 3,000 square meters.
Yeah.
Market garden was the original plan.
With trees and things.
Yeah, a few
So
trees.
what happened? Your girlfriend lives here.
Exactly.
It's not many Irish accents here in Germany.
Not too many.
But your girlfriend's father bought this place, and it's this incredible place. We've got these amazing old buildings from the 1800s and old barns, and down in the distance Jasper's setting up his market garden and the eggmobiles over there, as well as a bit of agroforestry.
Yeah.
So it's your project scaled somewhat.
A little bit.
Yeah. You've got 6 hectares here?
No, this property itself is this field, which is planted with apple trees at the minute. Going to be turned into agroforestry. I've got this field from the neighbour who's not using it. Those 2 fields together are a hectare, and the market garden is 3,000 square meters.
Awesome. And you've already built up a bit of a client base?
I'm also renting an asparagus farm for the year.
Like 6
to try
hectares
it out,
of
and it's 6 hectares of asparagus, and that already has a very well established client base with its own farm shop and a lot of equipment, and through that I'm gonna sell all the rest of this and get a name for myself established.
And you've been basically working for a couple of months now?
I pretty much started here in January getting this set up. Well, January built the polytunnel. Then started setting up the gardens.
Tell us about the process. Like, how have you gone? Was this like a ploughed field before?
No, until there was grass. So you see sort of a little drop there. So that was a grass field, and the rest of it was a ploughed field. There was corn in it last year. And so basically I've got 50 beds. They're 20 meters by 75 centimeters outside, that is, and 7 beds inside. And
how have you gone through the actual bed formation? Have you gone straight on the grass?
Cardboard, and then laid on top of that.
Perfect. And what's planted out so far?
The first bed I've got radishes, kohlrabi. I think that's radishes too. I just planted some salad today. And then under here we have kohlrabi, 2 beds of kale, 1 bed of bok choy. I have to transplant some beets today, 3 beds of carrots, 3 beds of onions, and then we have turnips here. We got a bit of a doing by a mole, but there they go.
And tell us a bit, like, where are we? Where are we located in Germany?
Pretty much in the middle of Germany.
Okay.
The Weser is the river that runs through there. We're in a little bit of a valley. It's a huge river that goes up past Bremen and then into the sea.
So people are coming hundreds of kilometers just to buy the asparagus.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you've got 6 hectares of that?
Yeah. And
it's a great building point for your vegetables and eggs. And
exactly, yeah. It's now in its 3rd year, so it's been certified organic, or not yet. It's in its 3rd, what do you call it? You have 3 years. In German it's Umstellungszeit, so you have 3 years before it's actually certified organic.
Conversion period.
So we're on the 3rd year. Next year then it's certified organic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so you've taken a massive project on now. It's like, we'll go and have a look at the house, but it's a beautiful old house with oak timber frame and wattle and daub, so they're doing clay rendering and all kinds of renovations there. Tell us a bit about the property. It was your girlfriend's father bought the property as like inheritance for
exactly.
Your girlfriend and sisters?
Yeah. And
you bought into that?
I bought into that and got the land then to do what I want to do, which is regenerative agriculture.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful spot for it.
And it's like 120,000 euros?
Something like that, yeah.
For the whole property. And obviously the buildings we'll see need a lot of renovation, but amazing work to take on. How old are you now, Jasper?
28.
28. So young enough to take on house building and gardening at the same time. And what have you done to set up the gardens? You've had to put in irrigation?
I've had to put in irrigation, which was a challenge because I had to go under the bike path over there. So I had to get a big company with, I don't know what it's called. They
like
have
a
like
drill
a
under,
pneumatic thing that shoots underneath the road. I got water set up, I got electricity in the greenhouse because I've got 3 propagation tables. Love it.
Super nice. Wow, you've been so busy. How many hours a day are you working at the moment?
At the moment I'm with the chickens, so I'm up with them at 6, and when I put them in at around 8 o'clock, half 8,
then you're done.
Then I'm done.
Wow.
So it's
lots of crops coming on.
I got these heating cables on thermostats, and they run under their sand, so they run through the sand, and that's supposed to stay moist.
It's a nice warm day today, but it's been cold weather up till now, really, hasn't it?
Exactly. I've had no problems. At the start I had a few problems, but I only had a few trays on, and I realised when I fill the whole table then it can heat up properly.
Yeah.
And if it's going to freeze at night, I'll just put a roll cover over the top of it and it's grand.
And what's going in the tunnel later this year?
Tomatoes and cucumbers.
And how are you planning? You're going to do vegetable boxes, or?
I'm going to do a few boxes, and then I'm going to sell in the farm shop for the asparagus. So that's 2-month season. I'll be selling through there, and then I'm thinking, so at the minute for my eggs I have a little stand up at the farm shop. It's basically just self-service. Take the eggs, put the money down, and that's working perfectly. So I'm thinking maybe to try that in the shop then when the asparagus season is finished, to set up a little stand where people can just go and get their own vegetables. Try that, see how it works. I'm going to do a small CSA. I've got a few people that's interested. I'm thinking maybe 20-30 boxes, something like that. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. If I need to think of other things, then I'll go with it. And also I done a yoga teacher training, and in the yoga ashram it's 45 minutes drive from here, and it's the biggest one in Europe, so they have room for 900 people there, and they're very interested in vegetables.
Awesome.
So
tell our viewers about you're starting up on a fairly low budget now.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about what you put into the gardens this year.
The gardens all together I think 11,000. And then for the chickens 4.5, I think. Awesome.
So less than 20,000 euro startup. And you'll turn over more than that this year, probably, no?
Yeah, for sure.
How's it been putting compost down? It's a lot of work in the beginning, no?
It's a lot of work, but I had some great help.
Yeah.
The first day, so I done the tunnel myself, and then the first day I got a few friends and family from my girlfriend from the village. I think we were 10 people or something, and we done 24 beds, and the rest I done myself.
Perfect.
It's a lot of work, but you don't have to do it once, pretty much.
Sweet.
So it's all good.
Yeah, well, you've hit the season with a bang, really.
Yeah.
It's ready to go, isn't it? What's the longer term plans? Are you gonna fence this off or anything like that? Do you have rabbits and stuff here?
Short term I want to put up a windbreak around it. Long term a nice hedge the whole way around. So I've left 4 meters on the outside from the beds, 2 meters so I can get around it with a little tractor in case I want to bring compost or something, and then 2 meters for a hedgerow.
Nice.
And
is it quite a windy site? Is it?
Yeah.
You're down the valley here.
Yesterday we had a lot of wind, and our road covers, they're not the best quality. Some of them started ripping, and the fennel doesn't look too good down the bottom.
Huh.
It got the most of it, but yeah, so I need a windbreak for sure, but longer term I want hedgerow for all the other benefits that come with it.
Yeah.
I made that with Johnny, a friend of mine, from...
That's your bed roller?
That's my bed roller. It's made out of the leftovers from the greenhouse.
Perfect.
And then I bought a few wheels.
Cost you what, $10?
Cost me €20.
€20, perfect.
But it's better than the 300 that you spend if you want to buy one. It's nice and heavy, and it works perfect.
Great.
So basically the field I got has already been planted with apple trees. It's not the best pattern, but like here they're a little bit too close together. Here we have 8 meters between the rows, and then as we go over it goes into 12. But it's great having apple trees already on the field, because I was planning to do agroforestry anyway. So basically the idea is now to do the 3 lanes from east to west. On the south side then I'll have berries, and then in between nitrogen fixers and hazel, and run the chickens through the rows.
Perfect.
It's the same as Ridgedale.
Yeah, and this is the guy, he's working on the trees right now. He's the guy that planted these.
So he planted these ones from the NABU, which is people that look after birds and protect birds. And here there's a rare owl, I don't know what it's called in English. In
What's it called in German?
German Kauz. It's like a little small owl that lives in apple trees and old trees. So basically this is, in German it's called historische Kultur, I can't even say it. But anyway, it's historical plantings of apple trees, because when the water quality was too bad, they drank not cider but the stuff with a bit less alcohol, so pretty much half cider. Don't know what it's called in English either. So all the villages used to be surrounded with these fields of apple trees, and nobody wanted to do it anymore because there was nothing interesting, couldn't make money from it, and everybody went over to ploughing and destroying. But they want to re-establish these, so there's a lot of funding behind it, and you get all the trees for free. So they planted all these trees, and now I was talking to him earlier on, explaining what I'm doing. He's totally in love with it. Said it was.
I see you've been planting some of the berries already.
Yeah, I've got started.
And you're gonna focus more on the birds and gardens this year?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
When do you think you'll start planning this out fully? Is that going to be?
So I bought quite a few different varieties because I want to propagate my own. It's too expensive to buy them all. So I thought I'd plant these ones, make one row so I can show people what the plan is, what I want to do, and then propagate my own and plant the rest of the field, and maybe that field if I get permission.
Awesome. It's going to be beautiful. And so how much land have you got for the eggmobile?
I've got a hectare at the moment with 160 hens, but I've got the option of going into the next field once I scaled up a bit.
And you just finished building this over the winter now. You built it for 400 hens?
Exactly, yeah. It's set up for 400, but I thought I'll start small, make sure I can sell all the eggs first, and then when everything works, then I can always buy more hens and scale up a bit.
So you built this with Albert, who was also at Ridgedale.
Exactly. Albert came for 2 weeks.
I bet you had a lot of fun, no?
Fun and very long days.
Show us around. I want to see inside this little beauty.
Yeah. So it's built on an old hay wagon. Nice and sturdy.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
And it doesn't really get stuck, hopefully. But I don't think so, I can't see it.
Wow, and you've been mimicking a bit the chicken caravan, no?
Exactly. So the nest boxes mimic the chicken caravan a wee bit, and the main design sort of Ridgedale. So yeah, I've got the 2 flaps for letting the birds in and out. Had a few small problems with them, but they seem to be getting used to it. The first day they just came up, sat down here. Next ones came up, sat down on top of them. And then there was a wall of chickens. Yeah. But now they've got used to it now. They're starting to get used to the roosts. And they're happy enough. These are on wheels, so I can drive and just they roll down behind it. Perfect. And the steps.
Beautiful.
Head up and down anytime I'm moving to make it as fast as possible.
Awesome. I bet you guys had so much fun with the engineering though.
Yeah, that was definitely, it was good fun.
Wow, look at this. So you've basically made a copy on the cheap of industrial egg boxes.
Yeah.
It looks awesome, dude. Tell us a little bit about how it works.
So the nest boxes go down the left and the right, and there's 6 on each side, a metre long each, enough for the 400 chickens. And when I come in, I built a small egg belt. That's for my egg trays, which are left over there. Put the egg tray here. Here I have a ratchet spanner.
Ratchet spanner.
And then collect my eggs, put them on the egg tray.
Jasper's awesome. It's freaking awesome. These nest boxes, like for people that don't know, if you buy a nest box like this from the industry, it's made of tin sheet with the same kind of functionality. It costs you like 6,000–7,000 euros. And what's it cost you to build this lot?
The nest boxes themselves, maybe. With the egg belt, I had to buy 50 meters because I couldn't buy 12 meters. The minimum was 50. That cost €5 per meter, and then the wood itself maybe €150 nest mats. But all in all, the egg mobile, I'd say €3,000 for the whole thing.
Amazing. Can I get inside and you show us how the how you close the nests up? Because you've built in closing nests as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So here there's a little lever, and I'll pull that across.
I don't know if you'll be able to make this out, but this is closed the flap here. Maybe you can do it again.
Yeah.
So that opens the nests up in the morning.
And then
close them. Dude, it's amazing. Because you can automate that if you want to. You could make the whole thing automated.
Yeah.
There's a bird just going in to lay now.
I think I just kicked her out.
Oh, you kicked her out. Oh, you've done an amazing job. And they're roosting down below?
A little bit. They like it up higher better.
So they're roosting up on the sides more?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to, maybe I want to put these up a little bit. If I get more birds.
So you've gone for, you see underneath here, you've got a metal mesh with the sort of AstroTurf nets that we use at the farm. And so if any eggs break in the beginning when they're soft shells, they'll just drip through into the pasture. Obviously with a mesh floor, droppings go onto the pasture. It's a really nice space. It'll be great for as you scale up to more numbers. You might need to lift them roosts up a bit off the ground.
That's what I was thinking.
It'll be easy enough.
Yeah.
What a great job you guys have done on the nest box. That's a winner.
That's the trick.
Yeah. How did you manage to set this thing up? Is that the fiddly bit?
That's the fiddly bit. So basically there's 2 bearings on the front and 2 in the back on, what do you call that in English? I'm thinking in German. And there's nuts so I can adjust it to
you've had to align this drum basically so the belt is coming totally straight.
I'd wanted to jump over all the time at the start, so I built in the back some things to keep it on the side so it doesn't want to jump over, and then align it by tightening or loosening these bolts, and built these rollers out of scraps.
It's working good now.
It's working good.
It's super cool, man. You've saved yourself a lot of money in the setup, haven't you?
And it's made of wood. I like wood.
Wow, so we're in this incredible barn made of oak. So this is where you're setting up workshop?
Exactly. The first thing I built, the most important part of the farm, a nice workshop.
Tell us about, you also picked up a silo there for the chickens real cheap?
Exactly, I picked that up for €150.
Sweet.
Went to pick it up with Albert.
Nice. And you've got plans to, this will be like centre of operations in a way, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of room in here. It's still a bit full. I had to tidy everything up, going piece by piece. But this is going to be the workshop. Started, not finished yet. And in the next section, so I want to put in a wall here to close it off. And then in this section, I want to build a veg cleaning station in there, and then a cookbook here, so that I can just reverse the van in, have one chain, vegetables come in the back, come out this side ready for delivery or wherever they're going. It's going to be a bit of work, but that's the plan.
It's such a beautiful asset, and it's limestone roofing, isn't it? It's needing repair. Sandstone. Yeah. It's got some holes in it, but there must be tens of tons of stone on that roof. But you can basically have someone come in, take the stone, and they'll do the job of roofing, modernising the roof here.
Yeah.
It's an amazing
a pity.
space to
I
have.
would love to keep the old sandstone, but it's so expensive, and it needs a hell of a lot of repair to get it back into good shape.
Yeah. What an awesome space. And I mean, something that's become apparent just coming to visit is like, this is a real life project, isn't it? I mean, the buildings are in need of a lot of repair, but once they're done, it's just amazing the potential of this place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got so much potential.
This is for asparagus?
Exactly.
What's the deal? You've got 6 hectares of asparagus and you're leasing that out?
Yeah.
And so what's the work that's happening now?
So basically this, don't have a clue what it's called in English, but it makes the dams loose, because if it's too hard, the asparagus will find the softest root and then you won't get nice straight asparagus. So that comes through, that makes the dams nice and loose, and then afterwards you put black plastic over the top, keep it white and gather the heat, because you want them to grow as fast as possible. We're already pretty late this year because of the weather.
Yeah. And when does picking begin?
I would say about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the longer term plan with the asparagus? You're hoping to keep that going, because you've got the established market for that.
Yeah.
And then you can really hope to build all your other sales on top of that.
Exactly.
So you'll keep doing that in the sort of more conventional, organic way?
I don't know. I've been thinking about and researching different ways to do it. I don't want to continue doing it in the conventional way, because I don't really agree with it that much. But I'm thinking maybe if it's possible to combine it with agroforestry. And I was reading a study about using chickens to do your weed management and fertilizer it's called in English.
You're having trouble with English, aren't you?
I'm thinking in German all the time. But basically, after you're finished harvesting, you let the plants grow up, and at that time you could bring the chickens in, let them run about. They'll take away the small weeds. You wait till the asparagus is about that height, so they won't touch the asparagus. They'll come and eat the weeds and do their thing. And I'm gonna give it a go this year and see how it works. There's a lot of hectares, so I'll need a lot of chickens, but I'll try it in a small area. And if I'm gonna try it out for a year. That was the deal. And if I want to keep doing it, then I want to change it a lot. But it's all basically an experiment. See how it goes. First of all, I have to try it for a year and see what it's all about. And yeah.
It's a good staple, reliable income as you build everything else up.
Exactly.
Wow, so it's really some work now.
Yep.
This is old pig pens.
I think there was a milking parlour here, and this building had completely collapsed and was super dangerous, so we had to take it down. Now we need to put a new wall in here, take the straw off. It's been sitting there for a long time, and clean it up. just a wee bit of work.
So your girlfriend's father's bought the place for, like, basically you two are going to live here longer term. And it's amazing what you get for the money. In terms, like, we'll have a look around this house. It's huge. I mean, it's a lot of work, and it'll cost the same again to do it up, probably, won't it? But it's the work for a young man.
Yeah. So up in the top corner, there's a box for falcons, and I think last year the neighbour told me there was falcons in it, but there's a few raccoons running about here, havoc, and I think they destroyed it a wee bit, so I have to go and clean it up.
It's a really, I mean, they've kind of spoilt this by putting concrete on top of the old lime rendering, haven't they?
Yeah.
But you can see this would have been an old drop toilet, so the sewage would have probably just dropped straight down into a pit or something.
Exactly.
And you've had to start getting into replacing some of the old timbers?
Yeah,
I can see you've put some
that had to be replaced, they were rotting away. But it seems like we went the whole way around the ground floor and it was just here, and this place doesn't get, it gets a bit of sun in the morning, so I'd say that would have been the wettest section of the house, and that's why a few of the beams were rotten.
But you're starting on the inside?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go take a look in there.
Let's do it. It's a bit loud. I've had a friend over from Ireland who's helping me a wee bit, and he's doing the floors at the moment, so it could be a bit loud.
But it's all this beautiful natural rendering, though. You've been doing the work in here?
Yeah. So we have, what do you call it in English? Cob?
Cob, yeah.
We've done cob. This was, we took it down, or took the old plaster off, and we've seen these beams, and we thought, we have to keep them. So we've done the cobbing around it. In the rooms themselves, as you can see, it's not finished yet. There's one there.
This is all cob as well, no?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice old window sills. Beautiful.
This will be your office?
This will be my office. Yeah.
It's a big old house. Do you want to show us some of the main features?
Yeah. Take a walk around. So in here we have, these two rooms are connected. There's gonna come a fireplace in here, which will be visible through both sides. So there'll be a door on each side where you can put the wood on, and I'm not sure what you call it in English, I'm just thinking in German all the time, but so that the heat's
like a circulation to heat the wall up, like a thermal mass.
Yeah, exactly, thermal mass. And then these two are for hot air, which go up into this room and that room, and then you can turn them on so the heat from the fireplace goes upstairs.
Amazing.
That's built in already.
But the house is structurally sound?
Yeah, structurally
it's all oak frames. Yeah. How is 1815 it was built?
1815, yeah. It's pretty old. Just over 200 years. And here we have a beautiful view. See down into the chickens.
See the chickens.
The gardens. Yeah.
Wow. You've been so busy since I last seen you already. How many years do you reckon it's going to take to do up the house and?
The whole house? Well, there's different sections. So there's this section of the house.
This is the end of the living house?
Well, in there is going to be the kitchen, and that's pretty much the end of it. And then it goes into another section, so there's another pretty much house on the other side. That's going to take a long time, but we're hoping to get this finished next year.
How are you making the mix?
It comes in bags, and so you can make it yourself obviously, it's just clay and straw, but in the bags the straw is really small, so they can put it through a machine. So you can
see it in the wall here, in the render. So it's a pre-mixed cob and then you spray it on with a machine?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You're saying that's the original?
Yeah, exactly. You can see that still has the straw from 200 years ago.
Amazing. And are you taking advice from specialist companies to do this? This one was done 2 or 3 days ago, and it's a challenge to get it to dry now because it's so cold, but now the spring is coming. Windows are open. It's going to be a beautiful kitchen.
Bread bag, German soldiers' bread bag from the Second World War, and all the old documents. Mr. Adolf as a stamp, and I think I have there's a farming manual from who knows, a long time ago. Learning how to farm.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of old documents in here.
There's been some rodents living in there.
And a dead raccoon here. Yeah.
So this is all up on the 3rd floor, no?
Yep.
And this is a hayloft in the house.
Yep. I wouldn't go
Us-
too far in there.
So we're up above that big entrance that comes in under the... Wow.
The falcon nest is down the back, but I haven't really... I don't know, if you can look through there, you can see through the floor, so I don't trust myself to walk over there and clean it out. Still.
Wow, it's a job.
See the drop toilet?
Yeah. So this is the bathroom overhanging the drop.
Hasn't been used in a few years.
Hasn't been used in decades by the looks of it.
So this used to be an old smokery. You can still smell the salami. That was the smoker. I think they said they couldn't get it out, so they left it sitting there.
Do you know anything about the history? Who lived here?
It was owned by, or built by Asparagus, a family, and I think they died and didn't have any children, or many got killed in the war, I'm not 100% sure. And then the house went to a guy called Bernard Kuster, and he lived there for until last year. He died last year, and it used to be the biggest farm in Gudelheim, and there's a schnapps distillery down in the back corner, and the neighbour told me that the farmer, so what he used to do, he used to make a schnapps and then invite all other farmers to drink away, and when they couldn't pay for it anymore, he'd be like, oh, it's alright, just give me your field. And that's how it became the biggest farm in Gudelheim. So in German this is called the Tenne. I don't know if there's an English name for it, but so the straw's up there, and one side of the house where we want to live is in here, and then there's another whole other side where nobody's lived for 50 years, so it's in pretty bad condition, but can be done up, and you basically have another house.
Can we check it out? What's in? It was a house in the past.
It was. So that was their toilet.
That's an old school toilet.
Yeah. And then the neighbour told me actually in this room used to be for the person who looked after the horses, so the horse stables are behind that. And he said there used to be a door here, no heating or nothing. He just had to get up in the morning and go out and check on the horses, and that That was his room, or her room.
That's the machinery that you're using to mix the cob there?
Exactly.
Okay, so this is the stuff that comes in the bags here.
That's it. And basically you just add water. You can see
And so you get this very nice consistent product.
I think this is that's the final there, so that's the one that goes on the top. There's two different ones. There's for the main wall, and then this is the fine stuff to finish it off. And I just put it in here, mix it with water, and squirt it on the walls.
So there's a distillery as well?
There is. It's not in the best condition.
It might be hard to depict this on the... Oh, we can see in here.
So this was the old oven. Big massive chimney going up.
Can't really see much, but there's basically a chimney stack that you see on the drone footage, and this is the hearth at the bottom of it.
And there's a well in here. Don't know if it's working too well anymore, but you can see the water. I'm not exactly sure how to make schnapps, but
you're gonna learn.
Gonna have to learn.
Amazing.
So that's the insulation we're putting in under the clay. It's wood fibre, so it can breathe with the clay, and water can go through it.
How are you going to heat the house? I mean, it's a massive space too.
Well, that side of the house we have the fireplace and put in a heating system, but hopefully be able to pretty much heat everything with the fire in the winter.
What's the sort of winter temperatures here?
Depends. This year we got 2 weeks that were down around -10, but it doesn't usually get that cold.
So not super cold.
No.
We're in the depths, the bowels of the house in the cellar. There's preserved plums from when are they from? 1932?
Who knows?
I expect they're still edible, you know.
Probably.
It looks like they got plums on top of the bed. This probably won't show up in the film, but it smells like an old church, as you might expect in the basement of an old house like this. But loads of storage. So this is not connected to the distillery that we just saw. But loads of space and nice vaulted ceilings.
Machine for spraying on the...
That's what you're spraying on the
Exactly.
plaster with? Can't see it on the film, but I think people get this like a plaster applicator. This is old. Is that heating oil or something?
Yeah, that's the old heating oil.
Wow, amazing. There's so much space down here. It's quite something, you know, to take on projects like this as well as the market gardens is enough for anyone, but to take on all the building as well, I'm super proud of what some of the ex-Ridgedalers are doing, and I really want to go and visit more people, because there's a bunch of people that have been farm managers or apprentices or have been on our trainings that are doing amazing work. So I'm hoping to get out and about and do this more often, because it's super inspiring, and I think it's really useful for folks that are just starting out to see what can be done on a shoestring budget, you know, and just the desire to just get out and do stuff and do it in an intelligent and smart way with models that are known to be useful. And it's just amazing to hear the stories about how the local community are responding. And as you heard Jasper say, he's budgeting half an hour to an hour just to chat to people on the footpath every day. And I think that's a really wise investment at this point, because this is going to become a real hub for the village. What's blown me away coming here is this is very different from what we were talking about when you were in Sweden.
Stepped it up
It's stepped up 20 gears, but it's a lot of work. I mean, it's amazing. What an amazing thing to get into. And like, how do you feel? I mean, you've made a big commitment starting farming, but it's not just farming by any stretch. I think anyone watching this can see it's like this is a major job to do up these houses. Like, how does it feel to have taken that on at the same time?
Well, just take it day by day and do my thing and get things done. And I can see it's a long project. It's going to be, I don't know,
Some years.
Some years for sure, but I've got sort of an idea in my head of what it could be like, and that's definitely enough motivation to keep going, because this place has got so much potential.
It's beautiful, and it's amazing that the community are excited about it and already getting behind it. You've done well to really start building that network already.
I think it's going to be something really special for the village, because you don't see that anymore around here. And like, I've had a lot of people that come and ask, are you going to start doing milk and this and that? And I mean, the possibilities are endless, but people are really excited that something's happening in the village. They're used to growing up, because in Germany, around the villages, most of the people are a lot older. Yeah. And they're used to being able to go down to or back in the day, they went down to the farm and got their vegetables, got their milk. And they really appreciate that, and they love to see it coming back.
Regenerative agriculture is coming back to Germany. Jasper's on the case, and a lot of people are going to love seeing this. I love it, just the history and the culture in the place. It's such a beautiful thing. What's I don't know so much going on in Germany. There's not so many places where people can learn about pastured poultry and bio-intensive market gardening, that kind of stuff.
I don't really know any.
Yeah. I think you're going to get a lot of people interested. Like, are you open to people coming and helping out? There's obviously a lot of room for people with skills to come and get involved.
Yeah, if it's the right people with the right motivation.
Thanks so much for showing us around. Awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Super proud, and I'm going to be very eager to follow you. This is amazing. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that, and you can find out more on the Facebook page below and be in touch through the comments here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.